Every single week, someone walks into my shop and asks me the same question. What's a good 4x4 that will not leave me stranded? And every single week, I watch them pull out their phone, show me a clapped-out 4Runner with 187,000 miles, and tell me the seller wants $22,000. I just stare at them. Because sitting right there on Auto Trader, sometimes on the same page, are three 4x4s with the same bulletproof engineering, the same body-on-frame toughness, and the potential to reach 500,000 miles, selling for a fraction of the price. And nobody clicks on them. That's not an exaggeration, by the way. I am not talking about vehicles that might last a long time if the stars align. I am talking about trucks and SUVs I have personally seen roll past 400,000 miles with original engines and transmissions. Rigs that aid workers drive across African deserts, that municipal fleets abuse for 20 years, that just refuse to quit. And because they do not have the right badge or the right reputation on Instagram, people walk right past them to overpay for something worse. After more than 2 decades under the hood, I have learned something. The market prices vehicles based on perception, and mechanics price them based on what actually breaks. Those two numbers almost never match. Today I am giving you 3 4x4s where the gap between perception and reality is so wide you could drive a truck through it. Literally. Number 1 is the one I am going deepest on because it might be the single most undervalued 4x4 in America right now, and I will prove it with the numbers. Let's get into it. Number 3, the Chevrolet Tahoe and Suburban GMT800 platform, 2000 through 2006. I know what you are thinking. A Chevy on a list about 500,000-mile gold mines? Hear me out, because if you dismiss this truck, you are making the same mistake that keeps these things priced at pennies on the dollar. A buddy of mine runs a small landscaping company. 3 years ago, he needed a tow vehicle and a daily driver. His budget was $8,000. He almost bought a 2012 Ford Explorer with the turbocharged EcoBoost because it looked newer and shinier. I told him to sit down. I pulled up a 2003 Chevrolet Suburban 1500 LT with the 5.3-liter Vortec V8. It had 164,000 miles. The asking price was $6,200. He thought I was joking. He is not laughing anymore. That Suburban is now at 241,000 miles, and the only repairs he has done are brakes, an alternator, and 1 fuel pump. Total repair costs in 3 years, $1,100. That truck tows a 14-foot trailer 5 days a week and still starts on the first crank every single morning. Here is what people do not understand about the GMT800 Tahoe and Suburban. The 5.3-liter Vortec, specifically the LM7 and L59 variants found in these trucks, is one of the most proven V8 engines ever built in North America. It is a small block pushrod V8 with a cast iron block. There are no overhead cams to fail, no timing chain tensioner systems to go haywire, no variable valve timing on the early versions to add complexity. It is a simple, torquey, understressed engine that GM refined over decades. These engines share their DNA with the LS family, which is arguably the most well-documented and best-supported engine platform in the aftermarket world. Parts are everywhere. Every mechanic in the country knows how to work on them. A water pump costs $45. A set of spark plugs is $30. An oil change at home costs you $35 in materials. The transmission paired with this engine, the 4L60E, and in some models the 4L65E, is a 4-speed automatic that has been used in millions of GM vehicles. Is it bulletproof? Not completely. If you neglect the fluid, it will punish you. But if you change the transmission fluid every 50,000 miles, these things will run past 300,000 miles without complaint. I have personally seen GMT800 Suburbans go past 400,000 miles on the original drivetrain. One customer of mine, a retired contractor, drove his 2002 Tahoe to 387,000 miles before selling it to his nephew. It is still running. The 4x4 system on these trucks uses a traditional transfer case with a 2-speed setup. Low range for when you need it, 2-wheel drive for the highway. It is not some electronically managed all-wheel drive system with a dozen sensors waiting to fail. It is a simple, mechanical, durable setup. Now let's talk price, because this is where it gets ridiculous. A 2003 through 2005 Tahoe or Suburban with 4x4 and around 140,000 to 180,000 miles, you are looking at $5,000 to $9,000. Compare that to a same-era Toyota 4Runner V8, which with similar miles runs $14,000 to $18,000 or more. That is a $9,000 to $13,000 gap for a truck that, in my experience, is nearly as reliable in the engine department and far cheaper to repair when something does go wrong. If you are shopping for one of these, here is what to check. First, pull the transmission dipstick. If the fluid is brown or smells burnt, walk away. That is an owner who never maintained it, and the transmission is living on borrowed time. If the fluid is pink or light red, you are probably okay. Second, check for exhaust manifold bolts. These are known to crack or break on the 5.3-liter Vortec. It is not catastrophic, but you will hear a ticking noise on cold starts that goes away when the engine warms up. It is about a $400 repair. Negotiate accordingly. Third, inspect the frame, especially if you are in the Rust Belt. The GMT800 frames were not galvanized and they can rust. If you are in a dry climate, this is a non-issue. Fourth, check the instrument cluster. These trucks are notorious for failing stepper motors in the gauge cluster. The speedometer and fuel gauge start acting erratic. It's a $150 fix if you send it out to be rebuilt, and about $40 if you do it yourself with a kit. Who should buy this? Anyone who needs a full-size 4x4 tow vehicle on a real-world budget. Anyone who wants a truck that every shop in America can fix with parts from every auto store in America. Anyone smart enough to know that a Chevy badge doesn't mean Chevy reliability. This particular generation of Tahoe and Suburban earned its stripes. Who should skip it? If fuel economy matters to you at all, look elsewhere. You are getting 14 to 16 miles per gallon on a good day. If you want something that will impress your neighbors, this isn't it. These trucks look like what they are, 20-year-old work vehicles. But if you want a 4x4 that will still be running when the next president takes office, the GMT800 is your truck. Number 2, the Lexus GX470, 2003 to 2009. This is the 4x4 that makes mechanics shake their heads at the used car market. Underneath that Lexus badge is a vehicle that shares its bones with the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado and its engine with the Land Cruiser 100 series. And somehow, people skip it. A woman brought her 2006 GX470 into my shop 2 years ago for a pre-purchase inspection. She had found it online for $11,500 with 168,000 miles. Her husband did not want her to buy it. He said it was a Lexus and that it would cost a fortune to maintain. I inspected it top to bottom. Tight suspension, clean fluids, Zero codes. I told her to buy it immediately. She did. She just texted me a photo of the odometer at 214,000 miles. Total unscheduled repairs in 2 years, a new alternator and a set of rear brake pads under $600 combined. Here is the secret that the entire overland community figured out years ago, but the general public still has not caught on to. The Lexus GX470 is powered by the Toyota 2UZ-FE 4.7-liter V8. Let me say that again so it sinks in. The same exact engine that goes in the Toyota Land Cruiser 100 series. The same engine that powers the Lexus LX470. This is a cast iron block, aluminum head, naturally aspirated V8 that Toyota designed to meet a 25-year service life. That is not marketing. Toyota sells Land Cruisers to the United Nations and to mining operations in some of the most remote places on Earth, and those organizations require 25 years of service from their fleet vehicles. The 2UZ-FE was engineered to meet that spec. The engine uses a timing belt, not a chain, and that belt needs replacement every 90,000 miles. That is the most expensive maintenance item you will face, typically $800 to $1,200 with a water pump done at the same time. But here is the important part. The 2UZ-FE is a non-interference engine. If the belt snaps, your pistons do not destroy the valves. You replace the belt and drive home. Try that with a European V8, and you will be shopping for a new engine. The transmission is a 5-speed automatic that Toyota paired with this engine across multiple platforms. It is proven, it is smooth, and with regular fluid changes, it will outlast the body. The 4x4 system is a full-time setup with a torsion center differential and low-range gearing. This is not a glorified all-wheel drive crossover. This is a real 4x4 with real capability, wrapped in leather seats and a quiet cabin. And here is where the math makes everyone angry. A 2006 Lexus GX470 with 120,000 to 150,000 miles typically sells for $12,000 to $17,000. A fourth-generation Toyota 4Runner V8 with the same miles, $15,000 to $22,000. The GX has the same engine, a more luxurious interior, better sound deadening, and a stiffer chassis. But because it says Lexus, people assume it costs a fortune to fix. It does not. It is a Toyota. The parts are Toyota parts. The dealer charges Lexus prices, sure, but any independent Toyota mechanic can service this thing for the same cost as a 4Runner. Now compare it to what it actually is: a Land Cruiser Prado in a tuxedo. A Land Cruiser 100 series of the same vintage goes for $18,000 to $35,000, depending on condition. That is a vehicle with the same engine, a similar frame, and comparable off-road hardware. The GX470 gives you 80% of that capability for 40 to 60% of the cost. Shopping checklist for the GX470. First, ask about the timing belt. If the seller cannot tell you when it was last done, budget $1,000 and plan to do it immediately. Not a deal breaker, but it is your most critical service item. Second, check the undercarriage for rust, especially the rear subframe area. The GX does not rust as aggressively as some vehicles, but salt-state examples need careful inspection. Third, test the rear air suspension if equipped. Some GX470s have kinetic dynamic suspension system called KDSS. It is clever and effective, but the hydraulic lines can develop leaks on high mileage examples. Listen for clunking over bumps and check for any fluid residue around the stabilizer bar links. Fourth, look at the dashboard for cracks. Hot climate GX470s are known for dashboard cracking. It is cosmetic, but it tells you the vehicle spent its life baking in the sun, which can affect other rubber and plastic components. Who should buy this? Anyone who wants Land Cruiser reliability and capability at a fraction of the price. Anyone who wants a genuinely comfortable highway cruiser that can also handle serious trails. Anyone who plans to keep a vehicle past 300,000 miles and who wants the lowest possible risk of a catastrophic engine or transmission failure. Who should skip it? If fuel economy is a priority, the GX drinks premium and returns about 14 to 15 miles per gallon. If you need a modern infotainment system and the latest safety tech, you are looking at a vehicle from 2003 to 2009. And if you care about the side-hinged rear cargo door, that is just something you will have to live with. It is functional, but it takes some getting used to. If this kind of straight talk is saving you money, hit that subscribe button. I have more videos coming on the vehicles that shops actually respect versus the ones that just look good in a dealer photo. Now let's get to number one. Number one, the Toyota Sequoia, first generation, from 2001 to 2007. This is the one I'm most passionate about. This is the 4x4 I recommend more than anything else when someone asks me for a reliable, full-size, family-capable truck that can survive 500,000 miles and do it for the cost of a decent used sedan. And almost every single time, the person looks at me like I've lost my mind. A Sequoia? The big Toyota nobody talks about? Exactly. That's the whole point. Let me tell you about a customer who changed his mind. About 4 years ago, a guy in his late 30s came to me. He had just moved his family to Colorado and needed a 4x4 for the winters and for towing a small camping trailer. His budget was $10,000. He was dead set on a 4Runner. I showed him the prices. A clean, 4th generation 4Runner Vive 8 with 4x4 and reasonable miles at that time was $15,000 to $18,000. Way over budget. He started looking at older Jeep Grand Cherokees and I stopped him cold. I pulled up a 2005 Toyota Sequoia SR5 4x4 with the 4.7-liter V8. It had 146,000 miles. The asking price was $7,800. He could not believe it was that cheap and assumed something was wrong with it. I inspected it the next day. Nothing was wrong with it. Solid frame, clean engine, transmission shifted perfectly. He bought it. That was 4 years and about 80,000 miles ago. He is now at 226,000 miles. He changed the timing belt at 180,000, did brakes twice, replaced a power steering pump, and that's it. His total maintenance and repair cost over 4 years was right around $2,800. For a full-size V8 4x4 that hauls his family of 5 and tows a 4,500-pound trailer through mountain passes. Try doing that math with any other truck on the market. Here is why the first-generation Sequoia is the best-kept secret in the entire 4x4 world. It shares the same two UZFE 4.7-liter V8 with the Land Cruiser 100 series. Not a similar engine, not from the same family, the same engine. The cast-iron block V8 that Toyota engineered for a 25-year service life. The engine that enthusiast forums are filled with stories of going past 400,000 miles with minimal issues. Some documented examples have crossed well beyond that. It is a naturally aspirated, conservatively tuned, overbuilt power plant that just does not quit. The 2001 to 2004 models came with a 4-speed automatic. It is reliable but a little sluggish on the highway. The 2005 to 2007 models got VVTi on the engine, bumping output to 282 horsepower and a 5-speed automatic that improved both performance and fuel economy. If you can find a 2005 or later, that is the sweet spot. The 4x4 system on the Sequoia uses a part-time transfer case on the SR5 models and a full-time system with a Torsen center differential on the limited trim from 2005 onward. Both setups include low-range gearing. This is a proper 4x4, not a crossover pretending to be tough. The Sequoia was built on the same Tundra platform, which means it was engineered for real-world durability, towing, hauling, and taking abuse. Now let's talk about the depreciation, because this is where the story gets absurd. A first-generation Sequoia sold new for $33,000 to $46,000 depending on trim. Today, Kelley Blue Book shows a 2005 Sequoia SR5 averaging around $5,000 to $6,000. A 2006 limited averages around $4,000 to $6,000 in private party value. You are looking at a full-size, 3-row V8-powered Toyota 4x4 with a proven 400,000-mile-plus engine for the price of a decent set of wheels and tires on a new Bronco. Meanwhile, a 2005 Toyota 4Runner Vive 8 4x4 with similar mileage goes for $12,000 to $16,000. A Land Cruiser 100 series of the same era goes for $18,000 to $35,000. The Sequoia shares an engine with both of those vehicles and costs less than either by a massive psychological margin. The 4Runner has off-road cachet. The Land Cruiser has heritage and collector status. The Sequoia has a reputation as a suburban mom hauler, and that reputation is saving you $10,000 to $25,000 on the exact same powertrain. An IC Cars study that analyzed over 2 million vehicles found that the Toyota Sequoia leads all vehicles in potential lifespan, with an average potential of nearly 300,000 miles. It is 8.1 times more likely than the average SUV to reach 250,000 miles. That is not forum speculation. That is data. When you are shopping for a first-gen Sequoia, here is what to inspect. First, check the lower ball joints. These are the single most common wear item on the first-gen Sequoia. They can wear out as early as 100,000 miles in some cases, and a failed ball joint is dangerous. Check for play by jacking up the front end and looking for looseness. Replacement is about $350 to $500 per side. Second, inspect the frame for rust. Like many Toyotas of this era, some first-gen Sequoias suffered from frame corrosion, particularly those driven in northern salt states. Toyota issued extended warranties and buyback programs for certain affected trucks, but it is still worth crawling underneath with a flashlight. If you are in a dry state, this is rarely an issue. Third, ask about the timing belt. The 2UZ-FE uses an interference-free design, so a snapped belt will not destroy the engine, but it needs changing every 90,000 miles. Budget $800 to $1,200 for the belt, water pump, and tensioner as a package. Fourth, check the radiator. Some high-mileage first-gen Sequoias develop radiator leaks at the plastic end tanks. A replacement radiator is about $150 to $300 for a quality aftermarket unit. Easy job. Fifth, look at the exhaust manifolds. Cracking is possible on high-mileage examples, similar to the Land Cruiser. Listen for a ticking sound on cold start that disappears as the engine warms up. Who should buy this? Families who need a true 3-row 4x4 and want something that will outlast the payments by a decade. Tow vehicle buyers on a budget. This thing handles 7,000 pounds when properly equipped. Anyone who wants the reliability of a Land Cruiser 100 series without paying Land Cruiser prices. Budget overlanders who want a proven platform with massive aftermarket support and cheap parts. And honestly, anyone smart enough to buy based on engineering instead of image, who should skip it. If you want something that handles like a car, this is a truck. It drives like a truck. It parks like a truck. If fuel economy is anywhere near the top of your priority list, the Sequoia gets about 14 to 15 miles per gallon combined, and it takes regular fuel, which is a small mercy. If you need modern safety features like blind spot monitoring and adaptive cruise control, you are shopping a 20-year-old truck. And if you cannot get past the look of it, well, more Sequoias for the rest of us. Here is the mechanic math on the Sequoia. Buy one for $6,000 to $8,000. Drive it for 200,000 miles. Budget $4,000 to $5,000 in maintenance over that span. Your total cost of ownership is roughly 5 to 6 cents per mile for a vehicle that can seat 8, tow a trailer, and handle every season of weather. Find me another 4x4 that can touch that number. I will wait. So there it is. 3 4x4s the market forgot, but every mechanic I know quietly respects. The Chevrolet Tahoe and Suburban with the 5.3-liter Vortec, the cheapest way into a full-size four-wheel drive V8 that every shop in the country can fix. The Lexus GX470, a Land Cruiser in disguise that depreciates like a luxury car but runs like a Toyota because it is one. And the first-generation Toyota Sequoia, the most overlooked 4x4 that can reach 500,000 miles, priced like people do not know what it is, because they do not. Next time a salesman points you toward a 3-year-old German lease return with an expired warranty and a turbo that is living on borrowed time, you will know there is a better way. If you want to know which SUVs have actually earned legendary status in the shop, the ones that keep coming back with 300,000 miles and still run like the day they were built, I did a whole video on that. It is right here. Like the video if this helped. Subscribe for more honest car advice. I will keep telling you what the data says and what the dealerships will not. Drive safe, maintain your truck, and it will take care of you. Take it or leave it. I will see you in the next one.